Human beings, we can create electricity and get lots of things done. But before we had electricity, we had to rely on the labor of human beings and animals to get everything done. Now, when a human being does work, we say they're burning calories. And when we use electrical energy, we say that we're using kilowatt hours. Now, since these are both forms of energy, let's compare the two. So, 1 kilowatt hour is the equivalent of 860 calories of energy. So you might think, well, if I burn 860 calories doing something, I've done 1 kilowatt hour worth of work that electricity could do. But that's not necessarily true, because human beings are not 100% efficient. In fact, the best you can really hope for in terms of doing mechanical work to create electricity or do anything is about 20% or less, because we generate so much heat whenever we're doing anything that we're wasting a lot of the power that we could be using. So you have to burn about 4,300 calories just to generate 1 kilowatt hour. And to understand what a kilowatt hour is, it only costs about 12 cents to get a kilowatt hour off the main of electricity. So you're not really going to make any money if you want to try to generate electricity. You might make 12 cents a day if you burn 4,300 calories a day on a bike or something, making electricity. But so as we can see, human beings aren't that powerful compared to all the power that's in the fuels we burn, or the rivers we get electricity from, or wind turbines, driving winds. So basically, you're never going to be able to get nearly as much work as you can get done in a modern society just off human labor or the labor of animals, which, yeah, animals are bigger and they can do more work, but you have to feed them a lot more food. So they're not very helpful. And that electricity isn't even the only energy we use. We also burn fuels in cars. We burn fuels to keep our houses hot. But let's figure out how much you'd have to work to create the amount of electricity that the average person would use, in the United States, of course. So, in the US, a household will use an average of about 30 kilowatt hours. Now, this is for everything. This is for lights, television, heat, if you have a heat pump or electric heat, and air conditioning, and cooking, everything you might use electricity for. About 30 kilowatt hours. Now, if there's 4 people in this household, it's about 7.5 kilowatt hours per person. So you'd have to burn 4,300 calories times 7.5, or 32,250 calories. You'd have to burn over 32,000 calories just to generate the amount of electricity you would use in a day. And that doesn't include heat if you have gas heat. That doesn't include all the power your car uses from gasoline. That doesn't include all the power that commercial companies will use for their power. So you would need, if you could burn, say, 4,300 calories on a bike in a working day, you'd need 7.5 or like 8 people slaving away on a bike to create electricity for one person, just to create enough electricity for one person in a modern society. So as you can see, that's why in the past people had to live closer together, and it took a lot longer to make things, and it was everything. They couldn't do nearly as much because they didn't have as much energy. So, yeah, that's it. You can't really create much power. I mean, if you worked like 12 hours, I guess, maybe you could create 1.5 kilowatt hours. You'd take home 20 cents.